Hello everyone and welcome to Next Gen Competition. We are here for qualifying for the Indianapolis 250. We are just under 9 minutes into qualifying. Apologies for the lack of commentary to start with, but I am here now and we're watching currently on the racetrack is Thomas Pierpont, driving fast from the racing, but his laps have not gone to plan for him so far. Maybe some, as drivers are joining the racetrack, it's causing a couple of lag spikes, which I believe could well be affecting the driver of the number 10 car. So he, I imagine, is not going to be improving, and currently sits in 5th in the timing tower with some problems. As you can see, the car really having its fair share of issues in this session so far, but currently at the top of the times is Aston Lewis ahead of Adam Richardson, with Adam Liu and Jonathan Mills in 4th, the drivers to have set times so far. As Pierpont is going to be coming to pit lane now, as he looks like he is. So, problems for Pierpont, not how he would have wanted to start this session. And hello to everyone watching. You see Evan Dalton will be the next driver to start a flying lap. Driving for his own team, Dalton Autosport, the most winningest driver in this season so far in Project IndyCar, with 2 victories in rounds 1 and 2 of the season. He then missed round 3. And he came back for round 4, but did not manage to get the victory. I believe it was it 2nd or 3rd in the end? I think it was 2nd in the end, if my memory serves me correctly. But he's still having a very strong season indeed. I believe he does lead the championship by a few points over Scott Sandover. So today could be a big day in what has been a very tight championship fight so far here in Project IndyCar. Dalton looking to try and get himself in the mix here. Qualifying is far from everything in a race around this track. Cautions could well be frequent today, so I imagine we could well see some drama during the race, which could mix up the field, especially with strategy potentially having a fairly big factor in all of this. But of course, as we see another little bit of lag there, a couple of spikes, but don't worry, they should all go away fairly soon, as Evan Dalton's first lap quite a bit down by nearly 7/10 of a second, but this second lap maybe you can push it a bit more now. As he's leaving the car in 4th gear, he should probably be getting that in 5th gear, really. Although he is improving by a couple tenths, so what do I know? He does indeed put it into 5th down the back straight. Trying to set the best lap he can in this session through 3 and 4. 2 tenths up. This lap time could well put him in the mix of John O'Mills. Although at the moment it's not looking too good. Down at the straight now. What will the time be? It is an improvement, not quite enough to get ahead of Jonathan Mills, just 5 milliseconds off of him, but right in the mix there in that mid-pack as the next driver to complete a lap time will be Chloe Glennon, being her debut this season. Has raced previously, specifically in the Indianapolis 250. I'm trying to think if she's completed both or just one. I know she's definitely completed at least one. I think it might be just the one overall. She does have some other starts in the IndyCar series. She also has raced many a time in the NASCAR GT series as a driver, and currently is one of the 3 drivers for Fast Formula Racing in NASCAR GT, although she is very much part-time there at the moment. The only female driver currently in Next Gen Competition, I believe the only one to have ever raced in Next Gen Competition, so on her own a bit, but she's doing what she can here to take the fight to everyone else. And she'll be looking to try and set a competitive lap here in this session. Across the line for the first time, and 9 tenths off the pace, but trying to improve. A little bit too high, it looks like at the moment she is. But maybe arcing the corners off a little bit lower could well be a strategy, especially in the race. Could be a better call, and she is improving by quite a substantial amount, so if she can keep up this improvement, she'll be right in the mix with Evan Dalton. Both of whom, of course, are Irish drivers. Driving for Funny F1 here today in the number 35 car. And indeed, this is a really big improvement now for Chloe Glennon. Going through 3 and 4. This could be quite an impressive lap time. Could she get into the mix of Jonathan Mills and Evan Dalton in her return to racing here in Project IndyCar? What will the lap time be? It's enough to put her 4th. Wow, really impressive run there from Chloe Glennon. Stepping up into the top 4 and less than 3 tenths off. And, well, this is her first start of the season. And just like we saw with Kyle Albert making his first start of the season and his first ever start in the series back at Texas, he managed to put the car on the front row there today. So let's see if Chloe could do something similar. Of course, Kyle did qualify third, and then due to grid penalties got himself up into the front row. But actually it might have been fourth, and then 2 grid penalties ahead of him got him up onto the front row. But still, very impressive run now, as now we look further back to Afonso Silva, who is on his first flying lap now, I believe, driving for Pythagon Racing. Let's see what lap time he can produce here. Making his way down the main straight. Where will this first lap time put him? It will put him up into 6th place. So back of the drivers to have set a lap so far that is somewhat competitive. Through turn 2 now on his second flying lap. Pythagon Racing currently sitting 5th in the Teams Championship. They are a little bit off the sort of lead group. There's 4 teams at the moment that look very much in the Teams Championship fight. Pythagon is sort of there's 6 teams in Project IndyCar, 4 of which are in the championship fight at the moment for the Teams Championship. So it's tough for the teams that aren't in that fight, as we see Afonso Silva here is unable to improve. But yes, he is currently sitting 6th, and his team, or the team he drives for, not his team, currently sitting 5th in the Teams Championship on 137 points, 110 points off the championship lead. But equally, they are 118, I want to say, points off of the team behind them in the Constructors' Championship. So not doing too bad in that sense. Very much in a sort of land of their own at the moment. As the next driver to complete a lap with the driver I mentioned just a few moments ago, Kyle Albert here, driving for Jonathan Mills Racing, looking to try and put himself up on the higher positions of this grid. Kyle made his first start of the season back on the first oval of the season in Texas a couple of races ago, and as I mentioned, he put the car on the front row on that occasion in his first ever Project IndyCar race. A really impressive scene for him in qualifying on that day. Race didn't go quite his way, but still could have gone a lot worse, I think it's fair to say. He currently sits 12th in the championship on 32 points, and he'll be looking now to try and improve on that lap time, as he's currently sitting 7th, but not too far off the pace, as the next driver to start a lap will be Scott Sandover, here driving for Fast Formula Racing, the team that currently lead the team's championship standings. Scott Sandover is in this very close title fight in the Drivers' Championship, currently second, just 2 points off the lead, which is held by Evan Dalton. Really close stuff at the top of the championships in both of our 2 championships here, in the Drivers and in the teams. So really, really cool to see, and today could be massive in that, because the Indianapolis 250, if you don't know, is a double points event, and well, that means that there's, well, double the points on offer, which means double the implications if you have a bad day or a good day. If a championship contender here wins today and another one finishes last, it's going to be a huge swing in the championship. And this really is the first time we're going into this race with a close championship fight. So, well, let's see. Where's Scott Sandover going to put himself up into 8th? Not the first lap he would have wanted. Similar lap time to what Chloe Glennon put in. So maybe this could be a similar level of improvement for the Brit, but he makes his way through turn 2 now. Let's see what his improvement is so far. Only 600, so that's concerning for Scott Sandover. Not the improvement he would have wanted. Driving for Fast Formula Racing. He's got 1 win so far this season. Currently, his only win in Project IndyCar on the oval in Texas. One of 3 winners that have come so far this season. Now we see big improvement down the back straight. So maybe he clipped the wall the previous time around, or had some sort of shifting malfunction as he makes his way down the main straight again. Where will Scott Sandover put himself? He will jump up into 5th place there, right, and that makes him, again, very similar to what Chloe Glennon had there. So, strange, those two had sort of similarly bad first laps, but had similarly good second laps. Strange stuff here. As the next driver to start a lap will be Julius Gassner, driving for Pythagon Racing. This is his team, I believe, that he owns. He currently sits 10th in the point standings on 46 points, 95 points off of the championship lead, and immediately he has had some problems here on his first lap. And he'll regroup and try again for his second flying lap now, as he makes his way down the backstretch, looking to try and climb his way up the standings, although at the moment he is one of sort of a few drivers that are sitting in a sort of a similar level of points. In the Drivers' Championship, we currently have 5 drivers who have over 100 points. I'd say they are the real title favourites this season. Then we've got the next 4 drivers who are between 100 and 80 points. Not 180, but 100 and separately 80. And then we have the drivers who are sort of perhaps had weaker attendance across the season. They are the next group of drivers. Now we do see Zauber, that there, Julius Gassner, having problems, and again in the wall, he is getting it all wrong there. In 4th gear down the straights, 3rd gear in the corners. I don't feel like I need to say this, but in case you're wondering, he is a rookie to the Indianapolis 250. And he's having some troubles, I think it's fair to say. I think he's the first crasher of this session so far. So, yeah, that's something to take a note from this run. The next driver to start a flying lap will be Tyler Davison. He'll be competing in his first ever Indianapolis 250. He has raced in previous season. He has, I believe, 3 starts before this season, all the way back in our first season of Project IndyCar, where he finished 2nd, 1st and DNF. Then, of course, took a bit of a hiatus away from us for the rest of that season and missed season 2. But he's back here for what is the 3rd season of Project IndyCar and the 6th season of Next Gen competition. And he's got a car ahead of him that should be in the pit lane, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. And he's disconnected, which is obviously going to be a massive distraction there to Tyler, who's been really impeded by that lap, and that's not a nice situation to see there. As Julius Gassner might end up with a penalty for that. I don't know. That is definitely drama here. And qualifying, and Tyler will not be happy, and understandably so. He'll have to regroup and push again on his next lap. Still, of course, pushing on this lap, but it's not going to be the most competitive after what happened there. Tyler currently sits equal 7th in the championship with Afonso Silva on 91 points. 3 points behind at Jonathan Mills. And he is looking to try and take his 2nd ever victory in Project IndyCar. He won, of course, back in Season 1 at the Long Beach Grand Prix of that season. So far this season he's had some decent runs, but just not quite been able to string much together. He had a 2nd place in round 1, then only scored a combined 51 points in the next 2 races, which is the equivalent of a win in a fastest lap. But that over 2 races and missing a race as well, it's sort of his title hope sort of derailed there. But as you know, there's a long way in the season, so he can definitely improve. Speaking of improving, will he be able to improve on this lap time as he comes across the start-finish line? He won't be, down by 600ths of a second. The next driver to do a lap will be Jonathan Mills, who's starting to get to the repeat lap time competers. I don't know what I was going with for there. Jonathan Mills currently sits 6th in the Drivers' Championship. He looked like a title contender earlier in the season, but he missed the race last time out due to being on holiday, which is a very fair reason to miss it, and is probably a more enjoyable experience than fighting for our League Racing Championship. But still, nevertheless, it did cost him a lot of points in the title fight, meaning he is now 57 points off the lead, off of my very quick maths there. It's 47 actually, that's why you don't do quick maths. And he's improving by a 10th here, so this could be a day for him though, you know, if a driver like Jonathan Mills, or Tyler Davison, or Afonso Silva, these guys are sort of in that sort of just outside of title contender positions. If they take a win here today and the title contenders have problems, it really can swing the championship back in their favour. And even if they're not able to keep it across the season, it gives them hope again. And the hope is such a big part of being able to fight for the championship. Once you think you haven't got a chance, as he improves by 2 tenths there and gets back up into 4th place, if you don't think you've got a chance at the championship, you simply won't win the championship. And that's sadly how it works. So the fact that these drivers can use today as a real chance to get their chance in the championship, take a swing back at their rivals, it's an opportunity that you don't get in really any other series out there. The Indianapolis 250, it's almost like the checkpoint for being a championship contender. After today, whilst we still have another 13 rounds after this, this would effectively be 6 if you include the fact this is double points. But this is the 5th round of the season. As Jonathan Mills down by quite a bit, as we see the next driver getting ready to start their lap, that being Adam Richardson. It's very much that after this race of the season, if you're in the title fight or within range of it after this race, there's no reason for you to not believe that you have a chance at the championship, because we have another 2 ovals across the season. We'll have another 11 road courses, one of which will be a street circuit around the streets of Monaco, believe it or not. What could go wrong? And also we have tracks in Europe, we have tracks in Asia. I think we've got a race at New Zealand this season as well. It really is a whole wide range of tracks, which mean that you really can't. It's going to be very hard to build momentum after this race, as we see Adam Richardson put in an absolutely storming lap time there to go 4 tenths clear of the field. Massive time there for Adam Richardson. So yeah, if you can't build that momentum up after today, then it's going to be hard to really fight for the championship if you're not already in the fight, if that makes sense. If you're starting 50 points back and are struggling to get consistent results, you're not going to be able to close that gap. However, if you're in the title fight, if you're leading the championship and can't get consistent results, it's obviously not going to help you title bid, but at least you can say, I've got the points to be in that. I'm not having to gain any ground. I'm in the mix, and any points I gain over my rivals. Any points I lose over my rivals. As another outstanding lap time there from Adam Richardson, who goes even quicker, now 6 tenths clear of the field at the top at a 39.9, the first driver to go in to the 39s here in this session. I think it's fair to say that was quite the impressive lap time. As we look to the next driver to set a lap, it'll be Adam Liu here, making his way through turn 2 now. This will be his first lap of his second run. Adam Liu, one of the 5 drivers who currently have above 100 points, 106 points for him. Adam Richardson, who just went and is currently dominating this qualifying session, he's third in the championship on 128 points. Adam Liu, who we're currently watching and is currently improving, is on 106 points. So these two teammates looking to try and make up some ground in the championship fight here today. Adam Liu, can he improve on this lap time across the line? And he will improve by 8 hundredths of a second, which puts him very close to, it puts him into second place, ahead of Aston Lewis. Now with this next lap, can he stretch that gap over the rest of the field and try and close in on his teammate? Down the back straight he goes. Out of turn 4 now, he was still improving the last time we saw. What will this lap time be across the line? Down 4 hundredths of a second. Really is an unusual session so far today, as the next driver to complete a lap time will be Aston Lewis as he starts this next lap. Diving down into turn 1, the winner last time out, looking to try and make it back-to-back wins. Something that he has managed in every other series except the Dirt Rally Championship that he doesn't compete in next-gen competition. So if the reason why you haven't done it and if the only reason you haven't done it in every series is because you don't race in the series you haven't done it in, that would be a pretty good excuse, I think. So he'll definitely be looking to try and get back-to-back victories here today. Out of turn 4, trying to put himself in this fight for pole position, a pole position fight which is currently being absolutely dominated by Adam Richardson. An improvement will put him up into second, but still, more than 6 tenths off of P1. Across the line now, Aston Lewis on his second lap. Again, another driver failing to improve on this next lap. So, bit of a theme now, as we're going to see a new face in this session. A face that, well, if you've been watching the season so far, should be very familiar. The Verizon number 12 or 22. I should really know that. It's going to be the 12, actually, yeah. I should definitely know that. The number 12 Verizon car here for Dalton Autosport. Going to try and set a lap time here. The Chevrolet-powered cars traditionally have been better around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Admittedly, we've only had 2 races around here before, but both were won by Chevrolet-powered cars. Dalton, the winner last time out in the Indianapolis 250, was the driver that got the privilege of drinking some milk. As he comes across the line, will he be able to jump up the order into 7th, but a second off first? That's a big gap to have to close down. Dalton, the defending Indy 250 winner, will have more pressure than most to have a good race today. However, as the championship leader going into this race, he honestly may well be aiming for a good points day. Might be smart. He's won the race in the past. He's got the double crown achievement. He also has won the Blooming 200, in case you're wondering. I believe he won it in Season 4. Season 3. Season 3? Season 4 he won it in. Yeah, Season 4. Apologies for my idiocy. As he does improve again and gets within a second of P1 there. Yeah, he's one of the double crown winners, so he's got that sort of box checked. So maybe today he'll be looking to try and focus on the championship, try and win that championship, which of course he hasn't done before. So maybe we'll see that more, a sort of calmer attitude as he looks to just try and get a solid day today. Equally, he may prove me wrong and say, you know what, I want to win. I'd rather finish last trying to win and trying to focus on the championship than finish 5th, not worrying about the win at all. Next driver out on the racetrack is Chloe Glennon in the Funny F1 entry. The team currently bottom of the team's championship. One of their drivers left just before the start of the season, which dropped them down to one driver, and their one driver has competed in one race, in which he scored 19 points and had I think he may have finished last or second to last that day, so not a great showing for that team so far this season, as that driver is yet to return. However, Chloe Glennon, doing a one-off appearance in the Indianapolis 250, is currently sitting 5th, but will be looking to improve on her lap time. Going through turn 1 here. I think everyone now that starts laps, anyone sort of that has gone within the last 10 minutes will not set another lap in this session. So this will be Chloe Glennon's final attempt. Same, I imagine, will go for Adam Richardson, Aston Lewis, Adam Liu, everyone like that. All these guys pretty much in the same boat of just having to wait and see where they end up. Chloe Glennon not improving after the second split. Coming out of the final corner, can she get up a position? Down the main straight, and no, down by a tenth there for Chloe Glennon. So best she can hope for is a 5th place starting position. Next driver to look over at is Alfonso Silva. Down the main straight, he's going to start his final attempt of this session. Marginally down there on his lap time so far. Going to need to try and claw something back into 3 and 4 now. Admittedly, this is his first run on this, his first lap on this run, so maybe the second lap will be more rewarding, but so far not so good for Alfonso Silva, down just a tad. Going to be tough to try and claw that back to try and gain some positions on this grid. Across the line, and it is an improvement there, very good improvement there actually, to get up into 8th position, so gained a 10th there. Must have made a mistake on his previous lap time to lose so much down the main straight. Let's see, can he improve again now on his next attempt? He is indeed 400ths up. Could Alfonso Silva get himself up into the mix here? Just no, it would only take just over 2 tenths of improvement to gain 4 positions on this grid. That's how close the mid-pack is at the moment. Still 400ths up. 400ths, if that's how it stays, would not gain him a position. So let's see, what will this lap time be as he comes out of turn 4? His final attempt at a lap. Can he get himself up the grid? Cross the line and into 6th place. Good lap there for Alfonso Silva as he continues his relatively strong season so far. Kyle Albert will be the next to compete a lap time. Just over 7 minutes remaining in the session. Kyle Albert, in his debut in Project IndyCar just 2 races ago, put it on the front row at Texas Motor Speedway, a similar style of racetrack. Of course, higher banking, no sort of short chutes as they're known, which is the 2 little straights that separate turns 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. So it's different, but in the sense that it's an oval, it's similar. So could Kyle Albert put on a show for us here? Could he try and recreate that performance? So far, sitting 1.2 seconds off of the quickest time. Going to need to find something here as he comes across the line. Will it be an improvement for Kyle Albert? It will, by half a tenth there. Going to still have to find more than a tenth to try and gain a position though. half a tenth up after the first split. Not looking like it's going to be as successful a qualifying as he had in Texas. But maybe this could lead him into a different strategy for the race, where he is perhaps given a less high pressure position for the start. Could maybe even help him over the course of the race to sort of build up as the race goes on, rather than just throwing in at the deep end like he had to deal with in his rookie start. He will improve, and he will jump up into 8th position there, ahead of Scott Sandover, who will be the next driver to complete a lap time. He's making his way into turn 4 now to start his final run of the session. Sandover across the line now. It's an improvement of 4 attempts to put him up into 2nd place. Where on earth has that lap time come from? Unbelievable lap time there from Scott Sandover. Unbelievable. He was down in, I believe, 9th position. And with a huge lap time there, puts himself up onto the front row here. Will start middle of the front row if things stay the same as they are. Incredible lap time there from the fast one of the racing driver. The winner last time he raced on an oval. Well, who's to say he can't do it again as he makes his way down the main straight? Can he improve that lap time? I imagine it would be hard to do so. He's just under 200 slower. As Tyler Davison will be the next driver to start a lap, although he is quite a way behind where he should be on the racetrack. Currently exiting the pit lane. A bit of delay here for him getting out into the racetrack. Whilst we wait for Tyler's lap time to start, we'll have a look at a one-place grid penalty for both Kyle Albert and Tyler Davison, who we're just watching now, so they most likely sped in the pit lane at some point. Davison through turn 4 now, trying to improve his lap time. Well, set a lap time would be a good start, to be fair. Let's see, can he jump up the order? It'll be into 9th place there. Just barely within a second of P1 at the moment, but by definition is within a second of P1. A little bit wide there off of turn 1. A little bit wide through turn 2. Sees, feels like he's got a car inside of him, 400s down. Just exploring the racetrack. Trying some different lines, carrying momentum. Equally, he's not had the easiest of sessions so far, so probably still already filling out how this car drives. A tenth down now, so he will not be able to improve unless, like we saw earlier in the session, there was a major mistake off of turn 4 on his previous best. Across the line, and down by 0.2 of a second. And I do believe that will be the end of qualifying, as everyone is currently on pit lane, sat there, not at the end of the pit lane, so that is the end of qualifying with 2 minutes to spare. It is Adam Richardson by 0.6 of a second, an absolutely huge margin for Adam Richardson there at the front of the field. He is on pole position for today's Indianapolis 250. Absolutely unbelievable stuff here. So a quick look. That's the wrong. Oh, I could turn that off as well, actually. But yeah, Adam Richardson on the pole here today. Scott Sandover will be starting in the middle of the front row. with Aston Lewis trying to get a good start here from third on the grid. Not always the easiest place to start at this racetrack. But they are your three drivers on the front row for the Indianapolis 250. Three wide rolling start, if you don't know, is what is used in the Indianapolis 500 and in the Indianapolis 250 here. Adam Liu will be starting fourth with Jonathan Mills in fifth, and Chloe Glennon on her return to Production IndyCar in sixth. Then here's Alfonso Silva, ahead of Evan Dalton, our championship leader, down in eighth on the grid, with Tyler Davison in ninth, and Kyle Albert will be all on his own in row 4, starting in 10th position today. Really good qualifying there for the driver sitting second in the championship, which of course is Scott Sandover. Just 2 points off the lead, but 6 positions ahead of his main title rival. However, third in the championship, Adam Richardson will start this race from pole position. However, of course, we're saying all of this, well, I'm saying all of this like it matters. We have 100 laps of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to go, 250 miles of racing between now and the end of this race. At the end of this race, 100 points will be awarded, but only 2 points are awarded for qualifying today. So 2 points will go to Adam Richardson, brings him up on 230 points, and just 11 points off the championship lead. But still, there are many, many more points to come from the race. So there it is, your official grid here for today's race. If we look at it now, we see last place on the grid there is Julius Gassner without a lap time. 2 drivers with a 1 place grid penalty. But up at the front, it is Adam Richardson who will start today's race from pole position. There you see the field on the grid. The 11-car field getting ready. Don't worry, they won't be starting exactly like this from a standing start. It will be a rolling start. It's just where the field is parked whilst they await everything to get ready. 100 laps of racing await them. You can imagine nervous scenes down there in the cockpits of those cars. Some have got championships to think about, some don't. Some of them have a season to think about, some don't. Some have other leagues within next-gen competition to think about, some don't. And that is the factor, or the combination of those factors, is what makes the difference here when we race around a track like this. Drama always awaits us. Not long now, until the start of the third ever running of the next-gen competition, Indianapolis 250. The cars are beginning to roll. We are just moments away now from the start. The cars getting into position now, getting ready. 70 miles per hour on their way to the start-finish line. The field is free by free by free. The lights are coming on. And we have green flag racing in the Indianapolis 250. And already there's a big crash at the back. And it's Ghost, Adam Richardson, who leads at the front of the field, ahead of Aston Lewis. And there's another spinner there, Scott Sandover, from the front row has spun. And already, within moments of this race starting, we've had drama at the back of the field, problems on the start, and we are going to see an immediate caution here in today's race. As Aston Lewis takes the lead, the caution comes out for the collision that happened on the start. And drama early on here in the Indianapolis 250. Who was caught up in that incident? At the back of the field now we have Chloe Glennon, clearly with some damage on her car. Then it's Kyle Albert, 2 of the lesser experienced drivers. At the back then it is Alfonso Silva and Pythagon Racing teammate there, Julius Gassner. Scott Sandover started second, middle of the front row. Spun, looked like in turn 1. or maybe even turn 2. He drops down to 7th. Evan Dalton started all the way down in a 10th, or 8th was it, sorry. And he is now up into 5th place. Crazy scenes here at the start of this race. Drama already. We said there'd be drama. Didn't necessarily expect it to be coming this soon. That drama at the start, most likely caused by drivers getting wheel spin off the line, things like that. 70 mile per hour is very slow in a car, which as you can see has a very little aerodynamics around this oval. Not much downforce, and basically, well, there won't be any downforce when you're going at 70 miles per hour, so could have been some wheel spin, perhaps some drivers, especially the rookies, struggling to get the car started, and that could very much have been a large part of what happened there. But luckily, no serious damage, and the field can continue to roll. The pit lane will be open this time. We'll see if anyone wants to take their car down pit lane. Aston Lewis out front, looking to take back-to-back victories here today. Let's see, will anyone take the risk? Will anyone pit? Lewis sort of fakes it there. What about further down the field? Look, Kyle Albert. Even Kyle Albert stays out here. So the whole field will stay out. Which means next time around, we will be able to go back to green flag racing. Restarts will be single file, unlike the main start, so slightly reduces the chances of utter carnage. But, you know, they'll find a way. Currently, you can see there the fuel mileage of all these cars. Currently got 47, roughly 49 in the case of Aston Lewis, litres of fuel in their cars. 70 litres is the maximum, so I'm kind of surprised that someone near the back of the field didn't pit to take that extra 20 litres. Just, you know, on the basis that you wouldn't lose any positions and you'd gain some options in terms of strategy later on in the race. Kyle, but they're spinning on his way to the restart. Perhaps having some trouble getting his tyres up to temperature. In contact there, actually. I believe someone's gone around on the way to the restart. Is that Evan Dalton? It is. Championship leader Evan Dalton has dropped down into 8th position here. Just as we've been getting ready for the restart, contact in the middle of the pack. Aston Lewis puts his foot to the floor and we are back to green flag racing in the Indianapolis 250. Leading the field across the stripe. Side by side for second place, we've got the two Adams, the two teammates at Phoenix Motorsports, side by side through turn 1. Already got, I think, a spinner in the background there. Don't know who's collected anyone else. It looks like there may well have been a couple of cars involved at the back, but it's Aston Lewis who leads the field here. We look further back here. We've had, yes, Chloe Glennon and Alfonso Silva have had a incident at the back of the pack. Aston Lewis just about holds on to the lead here as Jonathan Mills looking up into third position, side by side with Adam Liu. That could get tight off of turn 3. So make their way into turn 4 now. The battle for the lead's getting close as well. Still side by side, they're going to be costing themselves a chance at the slipstream of the top 2. Jonathan Mills on the inside, looking for his first career victory. Then you've got there, free wide to the inside. Tyler Davison makes it free wide. That's a bold pass, and he makes it work. All the way on the low side, inside a free wide. That rarely works out, but on this occasion it has worked out for him. They fly through turn 2 there. Up at the front, could we see a change leader, or are these two going to work together? We've seen it before, and we could well see it again here today. Adam Richardson, Aston Lewis, will these two work together to try and pull away out front? Not necessarily the smartest move given the chance of caution, but at the same time, you at least keep yourself in a guaranteed top 2 position until the next caution. Adam Liu leading this second pack of race cars, trying to reel in the leaders, perhaps knowingly, as they go side by side for the lead here through turn 2. This could help the drivers behind them catch back up to the lead group, but it is Aston Lewis, who maintains the lead here of the Indianapolis 250, or does he? Adam Richardson on the outside. He's right there alongside him as they go into turn 3. On the outside, the slower line in theory. Can he stay in? He's just about on the outside there, keeping his foot to the floor. Drops back now, but he's going to have a great run down the main straight, and indeed he does. Pulls to the inside. Now this move should be slightly easier. Across the line they go. Adam Richardson on the inside as they go into turn 1. Can he take the lead away from Aston Lewis? He runs up the racetrack a tad. Aston Lewis has to go even higher, and that is going to allow the gap to close in behind them. Aston Lewis. Now what will he do? Will he fight back, or will he try and work with the driver ahead of him? I think we've got our answer here. Aston Lewis to the outside, looking to try and retake the lead of the Indianapolis 250. Maybe even trying to recreate the move that we just saw Richardson put on him. As you see them there getting so close to the wall. It's a very different racetrack in race conditions compared to qualifying conditions. If you're wondering why that is, longer runs on the tyres mean they get hotter, which means for a while they feel nicer than qualifying before they get too hot and start to feel worse than qualifying. You also have dirty air, which of course the leaders aren't having too much of an issue with when they're running side by side. But when you are on the dirty air of another car, you have significantly less downforce. The car is much more sensitive to aerodynamics. And to see the leaders continuing to drive side by side, third place is reeling in quickly. Adam Richardson right on the inside still, keeping his nose in this fight. He drives it in deep into turn 3. Can he retake the lead? He does. He is clear just about ahead of Aston Lewis. Aston Lewis runs quite high indeed. Adam Liu right in the fight here. Two Phoenix Motorsport cars up in the top 3, trying to make it a 1-2 for their team early in this race as we begin lap 9 of 100. Side by side determined again. And it's Aston Lewis at a bold move to the outside, and he takes the lead. Now we see side by side behind, it's Liu who's going to get up into second place. Still side by side with his teammate though, as this also allowing Sandover, Tyler, and several others to catch back into this fight. They were almost looking like they might go 3 wide there, but there you see, that's the effect of dirty air we saw there. That effect really having an impact on these drivers. As we now see almost 3 wide, Sandover with a big run. He's going to go to the outside. Liu trying to hold on to that position. His teammate is going to give him the slipstream down the straight. Sandover got to think wisely here in the title fight. He's on the outside. Liu on the inside. He's going to try and go all the way around this side. He gets into the wall ever so slightly. He brushes against the barriers. He's very wide again in turn 2. Can he get it back down on the racing line? No. He loses the position to Davison. Davison now on his inside and will get up into 4th position, dropping him back into the clutches of his main title rival, Evan Dalton, right behind him here today. They thunder through turns 3 and 4. This lead group of 7 cars, all basically nose to tail. Group of 4 have dropped back, but only 2 of which have spun from my vision. I suppose the best way of saying it. So we're still at 2 cars in this stint so far. Lewis holding on out front for now. Richardson, though, you can see, trying everything he can to try and retake this race lead. Richardson's showed immense pace in qualifying, so you may be questioning how on earth anyone's keeping up with him in this, but that is the combination of dirty air, different conditions, and of course the slipstream. It all sort of comes together to create a situation where the race car feels very different to the qualifying car, and you see here side by side for lead, Aston Lewis on the inside, Richardson on the outside. Liu surely is going to work with his teammate. No, he goes down to the inside. He's in the slipstream of Lewis. So they now are almost 3 wide. They are 3 wide as they head towards turn 3 now. Liu perhaps wisely backs out of it. And the cars at the back of this group starting to fall back a little bit. But Lewis still somehow, by some miracle, holds on to the lead here as Liu and Davison are side by side here. Oh, and that's a big crash! Up and over goes Davison. Davison is upside down briefly, and that is the 3rd car involved in the incident. Huge crash there for Tyler Davison in the Dalton Autosport number 3 car. He's going to drop back significantly. Big drama there for him. And Sandover was caught up in that one as well as multiple other drivers. And as we see them side by side for the lead, we are going to see our next caution of the race. side by side as the caution comes out. Lewis will maintain the lead. Pit lane will be closed. Oh, and actually, it looks like Richardson's retaking the lead here. Oh, there's contact under safety car. Richardson very sideways and is going to drop down into third place now. He won't be happy with that at all. Field needs to slow down here. Richardson thinks he was the leader. Lewis thinks he was the leader. Don't want to sort of stoke the flames, but I do think that it was Richardson who was the leader. Doesn't mean he should run his rival into the wall, though. I do not condone that in the slightest. The field bunched up here again. Pit lane will be open at the end of this lap, so we could see our first pit stops of the race so far. I imagine we'll see everyone coming down pit lane, although I could be proved wrong. Just 20 litres in the fuel tank so far. Or left, I should say. So, they don't desperately need fuel at this moment, but if they don't pit now, they're not going to get that much longer out of the fuel tank. Maybe they'd be pushing 10 laps. So let's say 10 laps more of that. Like that takes them lap 25. I don't know if that's going to give you many more options. Given we've had 2 cautions in the first 14 laps, I think there's a good chance that we see a lot more caution in this race, so it's probably the wise option to pit here, although we could well see someone try something different, and that often does win races, because, you know, if you copy everyone else, then you end up stuck behind them. As we see there, that was Davison looking a little bit there as there's contact on the way into pit lane. Richardson leads them all down pit road. Has anyone stayed out? No, they haven't. Everyone is in the pit lane, making their way down pit road. We often see changes of position during these pit stops, so I would not be surprised if we do see changes on this day as well. Richardson was the leader coming into the pits. He's looking good to be the leader on Exeter as well here. He's making his way down the pit lane. We'll watch here as Sandover and Dalton try and jump him. Neither of them are going to do it. What is the order going to be as they come off pit lane? Lewis has lost a lot of time here. He's down into 4th place now. Dalton's gained a lot, he's up into 3rd, and it's now a 1-2 for Phoenix Motorsports. Davison's looked like he's lost quite a bit as well, he's down to 9th. Yeah, it's some change of position here under this caution as they make their way off of pit road. The whole field will now get a chance to line back up. And the field will be green at the end of this lap. Getting ready to go back to racing speed. In what has been a drama-filled race so far, but one that I have, at least in my own experience, enjoyed in watching. And of course commentating on as well here. Adam Richardson out front looking to try and, well, lead more laps. I suppose the best way you can do things at the moment is there's a bit of a carnage in the background there. Collisions under caution. Richardson wasn't too happy originally that he'd lost a position under the caution. Of course, he was given it in the end, but could that have been a crucial sort of bit of, I don't know, bullying his way into the lead under caution there to maintain that lead that he believed he had, and probably, from my view, did deserve, because you see there the leader that would have been, if he'd been in 2nd, the driver that was 2nd going to pit lane ended up in 4th. So, whilst of course different teams, different places on pit road, have to wait and see. A long way to go in this race. Still another 85 laps remain. We are back to green fibre racing in the Indianapolis 250. Richardson leads them away ahead of his teammate from Phoenix Motorsports. Adam Liu is in 2nd place. Immediately starting to see a bit of a gap emerge in the field, the top 2 pulling away, whilst the next group of 3 cars are dropping back just a little bit here. Whilst they're still in the slipstream, they've still got a chance of catching up to leaders. Over see Dalton ahead of Lewis and then Sandover in 5th place. These three need to work together if they want to catch the leaders. Lewis got a chance here. I believe Dalton is still just about on slipstream of Liu. They go down the main straight. We have had a spinner already there. It's Kyle Albert who's gone around in turn 4. It also looks like Julius Gassner has been involved in that in some way as well. But another car going slowly. I believe that's Chloe Glennon who's lost quite a bit of time. So a couple of cars involved there. We'll say that's 2. Let's look back up to the front. The top 2 teammates quite likely to work together here in this race now, as they look back in their mirrors at the gap that is closing to Evan Dalton, championship leader, running in this 3rd position. 3rd position would be a very good result for him to take away from this race. But as a previous winner around here, he knows he can do it. He'll want to do it again. Running in 3rd place, just ahead of Aston Lewis, a driver that perhaps needs more of a point today as he's a bit lower in the championship. Will need to pull off some overtakes, so he wants to get out front here today. Lewis into the wall, off of turn 3. Big contact with the outside wall there. It looks like he's just about managed to keep that car going and holding that position in 4th, but that is going to cost him a lot of time. And that was another demonstration of just how bad the dirty air can be. Got a little bit too close, a little bit too high. Lost pretty much all his downforce. And that's what happens. If you don't lift off substantially, then you are going to find yourself in a barrier. Someone else just clipped it there, as I mentioned it. Another group here has dropped back just a little bit. We've got Afonso Silva leading this sort of second group of 3 drivers. Just ahead of Davison and then Mills. All of them perhaps going to work together to try and reel back into this lead group. We're going to need some fighting up ahead to catch back up. And quite clearly see these Phoenix Motorsport cars out front. Oh, the big contact with the wall. Dalton's the next driver to get into it. These guys are having to push hard to stay in this lead group. But I was about to say, you can really notice these Phoenix Motorsports cars because they've got those fluorescent yellow tips and to their wings and to the top of the monocoque, so it makes it a bit easier to spot their cars. As someone's had an issue here, is that John Mills has had an issue. He's dropped back quite significantly. He's still not lost too much time, so he's how far back is he? He is 2.2 seconds, so we're going to leave that for now. Put up at the front. Look at this group, top 4, almost exactly nose to tail, and you've got Scott Sandover just hanging on at the moment in 5th place. Someone brushed the wall there, I believe that was Liu. That could give a chance to Dalton to get up into 2nd place. But that slipstream effect down the straight, it's such a huge pull that everyone is getting, as long as they're not making an overtake for the lead. As that's Lewis to the outside, not quite, of Dalton through turn 1. And now, Liu up the track, just a little bit, but it could be enough. Dalton to the inside, Lewis to the outside of him now. Both of them trying to get up into 2nd place. Liu doing all he can to cling on to that position. Dalton on the inside here as they go into turn 3. Lewis looking to try and see if there's a room to make it 3 wide. No, there definitely isn't there. So they make their way through turn 4 now and onto the main straight. Who does Lewis go with? Does he go with himself? Does he go with Dalton? Or does he go with Liu? I think we're going to answer there. He's going for himself. They're 3 wide down towards turn 1. So they turn in. This could end badly. Bit of rub in there. Liu's into the wall. Sandover's going to get to his inside now. He's got another spin further back in the pack. Jonathan Mills spins onto pit lane, it would appear. I don't actually... Did he spin onto pit lane? Or... Okay, if he's made the time... He doesn't have a speeding to pit lane, so he's not spun onto pit lane. So we'll go back to the lead group. A little less comfortable for our race leader now, Richardson. His teammates drop down to 4th place. Lewis versus Richardson was the battle we saw in the early laps of this race. We are quite possibly going to see Lewis versus Richardson once again. The 2 drivers who could become double crown champions. Both of them have won Blue Moon 200s. Neither of them have won a Indy 250. the two crown jewel events. There's that extra bit of bait on the line for these guys to try and get, as you see, bump drafting there. Dalton trying to push. Richard, oh, there's contact! Spinning in turn one. He saved it. How on earth? No! He saved it and then he's lost it again. Lewis goes around in the middle of turns 1 and 2 there. Big drama from the lead group. Contact between the top two. And that has sent Aston Lewis spinning around here. The caution not out though. We're now 3 cars with incidents. Rushing the wall, I believe that was Evan Dalton in the background, just trying to keep his guy on the road. He is the only double crown champion to be competing in this race. One of 2 that exist, the other being Jackson Turner. For all that drama that we had just a lap or 2 ago, it has meant that the teammates are now back out up front together. Liu right in the slipstream of Richardson, trying to work with his teammate to pull away, but Sandover looking like he's hanging on as I say that. Liu's looking to the inside, he's going to take the lead of the race. Not quite able to clear his teammate though, as they go through turn 3, and now into turn 4, they're side by side to the lead of the race. Sandover licking his lips at the side of this one. Richardson grazes the wall off the 4. Liu now is your new leader of the Indianapolis 250, but how long will he lead for? Sandover right in behind him as they go into turn 1 on lap 27. Richardson up the racetrack, just about holds onto it. Sandover on the inside of Richardson. Richardson way high here. Has got another spin here. Looks like Jonathan Mills. Oh no, it's Kyle Albert in front of the field, and a caution will come out here. Huge crash there as they came off of that corner. Nowhere for Richardson to go. Kyle Albert spun in front of the field. And, well, drama struck. It appears these guys haven't got the message that caution is out. Oh no, these guys are catching the field, ignore me. Although Liu was going quite quickly. The field now bunching up after that massive crash. Pit lane will be open this time around for all these drivers to pit if they wish to do so. There you see Kyle Albert getting his lap back here in this race. Now if we look at the fastest laps that we've seen so far today, no one with a penalty in this race, as of yet at least. Fast lap of the race is currently held by, I believe, Aston Lewis down in 9th place with a 41.064. Adam Liu and Adam Richardson with equal lap times. Not just the names they have in similar. As we now look at the back of the field, Kyle Albert will pit here, Jonathan Mills stays out. So we'll be waiting on Kyle Albert before this restart can happen. Hopefully that won't be too far away. Kyle Albert in one of his first few starts in the series, so got some learning to do, but it's progress. And it's you may think that, you know, it's just driving a big square, this track. Just, you know, it's not really just turn left, it's really easy. But in qualifying, we saw 1 second intervals between the field. That gives you a rough idea. That's how hard it is to qualify these cars. Don't get me wrong, it's flat out all the way. But to get the gearing right, to get the lines right, to get it all perfect on a qualifying lap isn't easy. Then we go into the race. You add overheating tyres, heavy fuel, and of course dirty air, and slipstream. It's the double. You have slipstream and dirty air, and you think, oh, slipstream's wonderful. It keeps you close to the cars ahead. It does, but it also gives you an extra 5 miles per hour down the straight, which then means when you reach the corner with less downforce with dirty air, not only are you having less downforce, you're also going at a quicker speed, which means there's so much less grip at the corners. And again, you can still do it flat out, but you then have to make sure you don't go so quick that you hit the car in front of you. Equally, if you're starting to get overheating tyres, it then does become a challenge to keep the car straight through the corners. And then on top of that, you get too close to a car, the dirty air is too strong, you can just spin out because of the lack of downforce. Going flat out, or too sharp a steering movement, that's something that can happen. Really is a challenging racetrack here. And these drivers are demonstrating that today. But they're also demonstrating what great hard racing can look like as well up at the front. As we go and look at leader, Adam Liu will get ready to go back to green flag racing. Couple of changes to how this race may well look now. We've got Aston Lewis, one of the leaders, or lead contenders throughout the majority of this race so far, is now down in 10th. Another one of the drivers who has really been at the front all race long, Adam Richardson, the pole sitter, is now down in 6th. We've got Adam Liu, Scott Sandover, Evan Dalton, 3 drivers that have run up front during this race at several occasions, and for the majority of it, I think it's fair to say. But you've got some big names down the order, and this is the chance for the smaller names to prove themselves, and for the bigger names to prove why they're bigger names. You know, if you drop down to 6th and stay there, then maybe you think, okay, well, maybe it's just a track position. But if you drop down to 6th and then get back up into the lead group, it shows a lot of talent. And that's what you really get to put on display around this racetrack. As we get ready for the restart, Liu leads the field for Phoenix Motorsports, and we are back to green flag racing in the Indianapolis 250. The field single file for now as they make their way down the back straight. Sandover looking for the lead in the number 9 for Fast Formula Racing to the inside. He's going to get out in front. Well, will it be enough as he turns into turn 3? Sandover to the lead. Is he clear? He is. Sandover leads the race ahead of Adam Liu, who loses it on the restart with the power of the slipstream down the back straight. It was too strong. He could not defend. Dalton's right in the mix, but Liu is trying to fight back to retake this lead as they go down towards turn 1. Liu is going to retake the lead on the outside, but can he get the move done as they go into turn 1? He's still on the outside, but he's not quite clear yet. Liu side by side with Sandover, so they make their way through turns 2 now. Dalton right on the back of the pair of them, looking, where does he go? Does he push one? Does he help another? It's Liu who retakes the lead, Sandover right in the mix, and now that's Davison. Also, in this lead group, Silver to the inside of Davison in the background. That could end badly. There's contact. They're spinning. Sandover spins across the field. Is there going to be further contact? There is. Big crash. Multiple cars involved. For at least 3 cars off. Crucially, it's Richardson. It's Sandover. Silver's around as well. Aston Lewis is caught up in it. And the caution is going to come out again here. Liu will hold on to the lead out front as the caution comes out. More drama there, a big spin. Sandover from right in the front of the pack spins across the field. And from then, it could only go badly. But that's, you know, that's the type of crashing that happens when you race this hard. It's not stupid decisions necessarily. It's not stupid driving or stupid drivers. It is hard racing on a hard track. Sometimes it ends like that. Pit lane will be open this time. As there's a car barrel rolling on the main straight. Three cars have chosen to pit here at the back of the field, those being Sandover, Richardson and Lewis there. Three drivers who have run up front at points in this race. Now the bottom three in this one. Really a change of dynamic to say the least. The out front here. I don't think the bottom three are going to be able to catch up in time here, although they might actually, so we are going to be able to go green this time, assuming they catch up, but I want to be able to say it early enough that they see it in time. We will be green this time. Sandover, I have confidence, will catch up to the back of the pack. Liu will lead the restart once more. Last time he lost the restart on the backstretch of the restart lap, Dalton will be looking to try and copy Sandover's move from last time around. Liu leads the field as they come off of turn 4 now, getting ready to start lap 35 of 100. We are back to green flag racing in the Indianapolis 250 here in Season 6 of Next Gen competition. It's a huge jump from Liu, who's made huge gains on that restart. Already the gap's nearly a second to second place. Huge jump there. Dalton under pressure there from Davison, and also Glennon right in the mix here. Driving for funny F1 here today, making a one-off appearance in the Indianapolis 250, and not doing too bad. There is contact. Mills, and I believe that was Julius Gassner, with contact on the back straight. Side by side then between Lewis and Albert as they go into turn 3. Lewis gets just ahead there. He's got another car up ahead. That's Richardson, who does have a penalty. I believe he have to. I'm going to have to guess that's a. Oh, is he pitting now? He's going to pits, trying to do a drive-through, but he's speeding into the pits as he does it. So that's going to be another drive-through penalty required for Richardson. Oh, is he disqualified? Adam Richardson attempts to pit for a second time, speeds by too much, and championship contender Adam Richardson is out of the Indianapolis 250. He led several laps. Only a third of the way through, he was the car to beat for most of it. He got knocked down the order. He appears to sped in the pits, and as he goes to serve the drive-through penalty for it, he speeds into the pit lane again, this time by way too much, and the game takes the decision to disqualify him from the race. Drama here in this race. It's unrivaled, I'll tell you that. The drama of the Indianapolis 250. This racetrack, these cars, these drivers. It brings something different to the table. Liu leads ahead of Dalton. Glennon running in third place here, ahead of Davison. Afonso Silva looking to try and get up into that fourth position. Looks like he's going to sit behind for now, behind the number 3 car for Dalton Motorsport. We will count the Richardson disqualification as one car, for those of you wondering, as he has now left, unsurprisingly, not happy. Dalton just watching on at the moment in second place. Just a couple attempts off of the lead. Right in the slipstream of the race leader, Adam Liu. It's been a good day so far for Evan Dalton, but not even 40 laps into it so far. A long way to go, but the championship leader currently running second. This would be a very good race for his championship hopes. Dalton looking to take the lead away from Liu. Down into turn 1, there's a little bit of rubbing behind as Glennon and Davison make contact. But we're side by side for the lead. We're side by side for third. Dalton on the inside for Dalton Autosport, trying to take the lead, and he is clear. Dalton takes the lead of the race. Liu looking to try and get the lead back on the inside. He's got the preferred lane as they head towards turn 3. Liu back out in front now, ahead of Evan Dalton. But he's pushing hard. He's trying to take this one back. He's on the inside. This is a great battle for the lead here. Dalton racing with Liu. Liu very high there in turn 1. Can he make the speed happen off of exit? It does not like he can, as there's drama here. I believe that's Glenn who's lost quite a bit of time. Same goes for Afonso Silva. As there are lots of... so the field has broken up a lot here, quite strangely. But Liu, back to the inside. Can he retake the lead of the Indianapolis 250? He will. Liu, back out front. I'm going to say that we're... Oh, a spin! Davison spins! Can he keep it out of the pit lane? He can! That was close. He's going to slow down, though, and he's going to make it out to be a pit stop. That's very stylish. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure it was intentional. He's low on fuel, to be fair. It could have been, actually. That was either a really, really cool pit entry or a mistake that he's covered off very well. Yeah. The fact that I can't tell, to be honest, shows how good that was. Fair play. That was quite cool. But the leader, his teammate, Evan Dalton, leads the race. Just 10 litres of fuel left. Weirdly, that does count as a spin because he spun. I'm going to say we're at 3 on the basis there's about 4 cars that have dropped out of the... sort of have dropped away from the car in front of them, and I haven't seen any of them lose a huge amount of time. Equally, I haven't seen any of them. None of them have spun quite clearly. So I'm going to say we're at 3 so far. Liu in second, looking to try and retake the lead of the race. He's going to go for it. On the inside of Dalton. Phoenix Motorsports versus Dalton Autosport. 2 teams that are in the team's championship fight. Now Zauber is into the pit lane as well. He has actually got a 10-second time penalty there, so he's sped into the pits. Unsure of what's caused that. As we now see side-by-side racing for the lead again. On the inside is Dalton. On the outside is Liu. We could well have green flag pit stops soon. A few drivers are already making green flag pit stops. Could see more drama here in this race. Dalton pulls to the inside. He's coming to pit lane. Can he do it cleanly? He's on the brakes hard. He's down to pit speed. Very conservative. That is the braking zone of a championship contender there. Very safe, very cautious. Behind him, Afonso Silva, also down pit lane. So is Chloe Glennon. Lots of drivers choosing this lap to be the one where they make their pit stops. As down the back straight, Liu powering his way in the lead. 6 seconds ahead of Aston Lewis. I think he'll have to pit this time around or next time at the very latest. He's slowing very early, actually, so that's very cautious there from Lee. He's perhaps seen what happened to his teammate. He gets to slow down. He is in pit lane. New leader, Aston Lewis, is out front here, and he's got plenty of fuel to go. Same for Scott Sandover. In second place, Jonathan Mills, he's got 14 litres in. 30 then for Albert. Really mixed up pack we have now, as Adam Liu currently in the pit lane still. He's rolling down the pit lane. Evan Dalton, don't know what he's doing, to be honest. He's exiting the pit lane. That's what he's doing. Ignore me. That's how long the pit stop is around here. That he's only now leaving the pits, down in 6th place. And a lap down on the leaders. And the leaders have lots of fuel left. A caution now would change the race. We are 1 car away from a caution. Adam Liu, he's making his way out of the pit lane now. Has he managed to stay ahead of Dalton? So in the meantime, we do have side-by-side racing for the lead. These two do have a decent amount of fuel left in their tanks. This is a fair fight for the front. Just 4 cars remain on this lead lap, in case you're interested. Sandover takes the lead away from Lewis. He is your new race leader here. Lewis trying to retake it back. Dalton has stayed ahead here. Where is Liu? Liu has dropped back. He is now just behind these two of Davison and Dalton. Then it is Afonso behind them. And then it's Chloe Glennon and Julius Gassner right at the back of this pack, as we've got Sandover out front ahead of Lewis. Two of the drivers that took that gamble for fuel under that last caution. Two of the drivers that had shown pace in this race so far. The only other driver to do that, I believe, was Adam Richardson, who of course made his unfortunate error. And there's contact! Drama between the top two. How on earth is that? That is unbelievable save there. Neither of them have got that sideways, but banging wheels into the corner at that speed could have ended so badly. We easily could have seen a car flying up into the grandstand there. Scary stuff for Sandover. Gonna try and retake the lead there. On the inside again. In turn 1, he does take the lead away. Lewis looking to try and take this lead back. Lewis looking to the inside of the car, pitting in the background. That's Mills. Will he get down to pit speed? He will. A couple more, I think it may have had another lap left in that tank, but he's not going to risk it. Dalton in 5th here, still a lap down. Side by side for the lead again. Lewis on the inside, Sandover on the outside. Lewis retakes it away from Scott Sandover. Into the wall, Lewis rushes it there off of turn 2. Sandover right behind him. Will we see another change of lead as they go down the back straight again? Right in the slipstream. He doesn't look close enough, or is he? He looks to the inside. He's going to stay behind. He's going to go to the outside. Get some clean air on that car. Within 2/10 of the race lead. These top two looking very racy out front here. Sandover, will he go for the move here on this occasion? He sticks behind. If these two work together, they could get themselves a very good position in this race. Especially if a caution comes out, it's regardless of how much these two battle, there's a good chance they will be first and second on the restart. Only 3 cars on the lead lap now. as we've had a disconnection there for Alfonso Silva, which does now mean that we are at 4 cars, and the caution will come out. And Aston Lewis will be the leader at the time of caution here. Leaders back it down. Pit lane will be open again. The lapped cars are getting their lap back. Top 3 on pit lane now. 2 of which Jonathan Mills racing cars, the other a Fast Formula racing car. Kyle Albert will be quite happy, I think, with this. He'll be restarting 3rd. Assuming he doesn't gain anything in the pit stop, that is, of course. He's going to be behind Lewis. Let's see, Lewis or Sandover, which one will be the leader of this restart? Lewis leaves pit road now. He will retake the lead on track. Will be Sandover who gets into that 2nd position. And then Kyle Albert who gets into 3rd. And the field should well be green this time. Over halfway through this race now. Field getting ready for the restart now. Lewis out front ahead of Sandover. Albert right in the mix. Then comes Dalton. And then Davison. We are back to green flag racing in the Indianapolis 250. It's a good restart there from the top 2 who immediately get a bit of a gap to Kyle Albert, who's had a tough restart. He's dropping back immediately. He's middle of 3 wide as they go into turn 1. Davison on the inside. He's going to get up into 3rd place. Dalton on the outside, they're still 3 wide here. Oh, it's a big crash in the background. Glennon is caught up there with Julius Gassner. Stuck on his side by the looks of things. We're going to have a caution here as Julius Gassner appears to be stuck here on his side in turn 2. Even though we've only had 2 cars go around, obviously but a car stuck on its side in one of the racing grooves. As Scott Sandover comes along to help him out, which is very kind of him. Hopefully he can get the racing back going now, and he is back on his wheels. He'll get his lap back. And yeah. we should be able to go back racing soon. It's an unusual reason for a caution, I must say. He'll be able to get one of his lap, or get one lap back, which will put him back onto the lead lap. Hopefully he gets that lap back soon. Running order now. Lewis, Sandover, Davison, Dalton, Liu, Albert, and it's Mills and Glennon. Will we see anyone pit here? Lewis fakes it. Further down the order, is that Mills looking for it? No, it's Albert who will pit here. Top up on fuel. Make his way down pit lane. And he'll rejoin at the back of the pack, although ahead of Julius Gassner. Lewis leading the way under caution, chose not to pit. They've pit very recently, so they've really got no reason to make a pit stop anytime soon. Maximum being 70 litres, they're on 64 litres, so they're very much safe at the moment. Will we be able to go green this time? I believe we will. Albert will catch up in time. Just needs to get up into 8th position. And he just arrives on the scene now, and there we see Gassner lets him through. Lewis out front. Last restart was a very good one for the top two. This time Davison in 3rd. Then Dalton, teammates in 3rd and 4th. They could pose a bigger challenge as we are back to green flag racing in the Indianapolis 250. Lewis into turn 1, still leads ahead of Sandover. Davison warming up his tyres, you can see him on the main straight there. Sandover immediately looking to try and take the lead of the race. He goes to the outside as they go through turn 2. He's on the outside of Aston Lewis. He brushes the wall ever so slightly. Davison, where will he go? He goes middle of the racetrack. He's going to take the lead from 3rd on the restart. Davison to the lead. Sandover contact with Dalton. Sandover squeezed Dalton right to the inside contact. They're in the wall. Big crash as they come off for turn 2. Turn 3, sorry. Who else is involved here? Several cars. We've got a car upside down. A big crash. Big crash. Liu's involved. Glennon's involved. Gassner is involved as well. All cars appear to have kept it going though. 3 cars. 1 away from a caution. Davison now at a huge lead because of all of that drama. Sandover drops down to 2nd. Lewis trying to take the lead. He goes under the grass. He's going to make contact surely as he tries to get this position. Banging wheels with Sandover. Lewis battling over this 2nd position. Sandover is not giving up anything here. These drivers behind are going to have to work together now if they want to catch up to the race leader. Davison on his own out front. Needs a good points day today if he wants to get closer into the title fight. Dalton in 2nd, still having a brilliant race. Sandover, controversially having a brilliant race, I think it's fair to say, as he currently runs in 3rd place. Lewis in 4th. He's going to need to get ahead of those 2 drivers ahead of him if he wants to get into this title fight. Mills in 5th. Then it is Kyle Albert, Julius Gassner, Chloe Lennon, and then Adam Liu having a tough day now down in 9th place after leading at stages. Very close in the battle for 2nd place. These two, if they work together, they definitely can close in. Davison is all on his own out front. He has no slipstream partner. He is going to be reeled in if these two work together. Dalton ahead of Sandover. But Sandover is going to go to the outside, looking to try and take 2nd place away from Dalton. Can he get the move done? Not quite. They're still side by side as they go into turn 4 now. Dalton on the inside, Sandover on the outside. And Dalton's going to hold on here, but this is not helping this group and their hopes of getting back into the fight for the win. Now it's 3 wide. Lewis looking to the outside. He clears them both. Lewis up into 2nd place, but he's way high through turn 1. He just barely grazes the wall. He keeps it in 2nd place though. So Sandover looking to make the move 2nd. He drops down into 4th place. Is Dalton now looking to try and get back up into 2nd place here. Dalton's got a reason to fight. It is his teammate out there, out front. For his team's sake, he probably wants to fight hard here. He doesn't mind so much as there's contact. How on earth have they saved it? Lewis into the wall. They've survived. Somehow, by a miracle, they've survived. The gap still 1.5 seconds to the race leader. Got a battle here further back between Albert and Mills. These two not having the day they would have wanted to have. Down in 5th and 6th place, the two Jonathan Mills racing cars. As out front Davison leads by 1.2 seconds. Dalton back into 2nd place. Sandover holding on to 3rd now ahead of Lewis as they race on for this crucial 2nd place at the moment. Sandover having to go defensive there against Aston Lewis, and that's why Lewis to the outside, trying to get that position on him. If these two fight, they're going to make it even worse for themselves in this chance for victory, as Dalton may well have just got back into the slipstream with the race leader. He has. Dalton has got back into the slipstream of his Dalton Autosport teammate. Tyler Davison out front. Sandover now, if he works with Lewis, they can stay with this lead group and make it a 4-way fight for victory. Now we get a chance to see what will the Dalton Autosport teammates do. Will they work together or will they fight? If they fight, they will ensure this becomes a 4-way fight. If they work together, they have the chance of breaking away out front. Dalton looking to the inside. 230 miles per hour. Trying to make an overtake for the lead. And he does. Dalton back out front here. Sandover on the inside now of Davison. He gets into 2nd place. But he's in the wall. And that's off the racetrack. Davison. Has he saved it? He has. Another really brilliant piece of driving from Tyler Davison. And he's stayed within the slipstream. Amazing stuff. We're talking a spinner. Who's that? It's Albert. Albert's around and the caution will come out again here. Caution's out. Dalton slows the cars down out front here. Lifts off the gas. And the field will begin to bunch up again here. Everyone lead lap. Have to wait for them all to catch up here. Dalton going very quickly for caution speed, I must say. 120 miles per hour at the moment. See here Aston is following caution speed, and you can see now the difference as Dalton now realises and backs it down. Pit lane will be open this time around. I imagine we'll see everyone take this chance to pit. It will most likely be the final pit stop of the day. Contact coming onto pit lane here as I say that, Mills has stayed out. Has anyone else stayed out? No, it is just Jonathan Mills. With 30 litres of fuel. It's a bold strategy, I'll give him that. He's relying on... I don't really know, to be honest. Another caution? If they can't get to the end, then I see what he's done. If they can get to the end, I don't see what he's done. It's a strange one there. Dalton. He led on the pit road. Will he lead off of it? His box right at the front. Shouldn't have anyone to wait for. That's Davison coming down pit lane now. Will Davison come out ahead? Just Davis. Oh, sorry, that's Lewis. Lewis will come out ahead. Then it's Davison. Then it's Liu. Then it's... as Dalton's dropping to the back here. He's lost so many places. He's down into 8th place. Only ahead of Albert. Which now means... that he is down in 8th. He's got several drivers who he was ahead of for so long behind him. Or ahead of him, sorry. As Sandover's lost places as well. He's down in 7th. Lennon's gained places. So has Gassner. Liu. A huge gains here. As Davison and Lewis. It's their lucky day. They have gained a lot here from this. As Mills out front. Pacing the field. Getting ready for the field to catch up to the back of him. Will be green flag racing once again at the end of this lap. Looks to me everyone has fueled up to the max, so it's not like it's a short splash and dash to the finish. Mills getting ready for the restart now. Foot to the floor, we are back to green flag racing here in the Indianapolis 250. It's a very good jump there immediately from Mills. As we see, that's Lewis having to defend from Davison as they go towards turn 1. Lewis in 2nd place, Davison was outside, trying to get the position from him. Liu right in that scrap as well, as then you see Glennon. And Gassner all the way up the racetrack there through turn 2, that could end badly. Gassner on the outside, Glennon on the inside. It's going to Sandover into the fight as well. We're watching Davison and Lewis side by side for 2nd place. Lewis on the inside. They're reeling into Mills out front. It's got cars in the wall in the background. Looks like they've all kept it going a straight line though. Lewis closing very quickly on his teammate. Lewis to the inside. Can he take the lead away from his teammate? He's in the slipstream. He's going to have to go for it. Davison's going to try and make it free wide. He does. He's going to take the lead of the Indianapolis 250. He barges his way past Mills through turn 1. Mills is not going to want to take that one. He's going to want to fight back as we have had Glennon spin in the background. Lewis drops down into 4th place now. Mills trying to fight back here. He's got less fuel than everyone else. He's relying on another caution. We've got 1 spin so far. Need another 3 to bring out a caution. Mills right in the slipstream with Davison out front. Liu in this fight as well. You can see now the gloves are off. 30 laps remain. 29 at the end of this lap. Side by side for 2nd. Liu around the outside of Mills. Mills very slow through turn 1 there. What is going on? Is he saving fuel or something? I don't know. He's trying something different, that's for sure. That may well let Sandover back into the slipstream of this lead group as well, which will be crucial for his chances in today's race. Lead group quite spread out. Liu nearly 4 attempts behind the lead, but that's all going to come down as they go down the straight now. Lewis in this pack as well, trying to reel in the leader. Got a 3-car group further back. Dalton, crucially for the championship in this 2nd group, along with Gassner and Albert as well. Up at the front now. The gap less than 0.2 of a second. Liu is on the back of Tyler Davison. Adam Liu versus Tyler Davison for the win. Liu to the inside of turn 3. He makes the move, but he can't make it stick. He washes up the racetrack behind him. Davison continuing to lead this race now. Lewis doing all he can to try and find a way past. The gap back now is grown. Mills, Dalton, Sandover's had a problem. He's dropped down into 6th place. Looks to me now, it's the top 3 battling for victory, although now Liu is going to have his work cut out to get back into this lead group. 7/10 off the lead. He is still within slipstream, especially of Lewis. But Aston he's got a decent gap to him. He's going to have to close in. He can't afford any lifts off now. The top 3 pulling away out front. Another whole pack behind of 5 cars, led by championship leader Dalton. Then it's Mills. And it's Scott Sandover, Julius Gassner, Kyle Albert with Chloe Glennon, the only driver not in a pack of some kind. Davison beginning to pull away a little bit here. That car is flying along. Aston Lewis in 2nd position, trying to close up, but he's going to have to fight. Liu to the outside. Liu takes the position away. Are we perhaps seeing fuel mileage being a concern in this run to the finish? As it's looking less and less likely we will have another caution. Could we well see this race go to who can make the fuel last? Let's look, shall we? Davison at the start of this lap. 53.3 litres remaining. How many litres does he use over the course of this lap? They go through turn 1 now. Now through turn 2. Unlike the drivers, we do not get live fuel mileage. We sort of get an update every few seconds. Hopefully, from the start of the lap to the end of the lap, that will be fairly accurate. Lewis must be trying to save quite a bit here. He's keeping it in 5th through the corners, which tells me he is trying to save. Let's see. Davison a lap out front here. What is the difference in fuel going to be? He was at 53.3 at the start. Across the line again, it's 50.9. That is a 2.4 litre difference lap to lap. So 50 litres, how far would that get you? With some quick maths, that gets you 20 laps. There are 24 laps left in this race. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fuel mileage race to the finish. Without another caution, fuel mileage will be a factor in this race. Who can make the fuel tank last? These top 2, they look to be pushing hard. Lewis, though, he conserved a little bit. He's lost the draft, though. Crucially for his chances, he has lost the slipstream of those ahead of him. So now, he has to fully commit to this low fuel mileage. You see him lifting on the straights, just trying to save some fuel. The top 2 pushing as hard as they can. A splash and dash may well be required at the end of this thing. Liu, I'm sure, will be smart about this and lift off and just maintain that gap to Davison to try and make this work. As you see, side by side further back, Dalton up into 3rd place. 57.2 litres left for him. Lewis, despite fuel saving, 57.7. He's got about a litre more than his rivals. Maybe a bit less. It's close to a litre that he's saved on this run so far. Sandover now the car behind him. The top 2 breaking away quite a bit. Clearly pushing flat out, not saving fuel yet. By my calculations, which in fairness could be very wrong, I'll admit that, these drivers are going to have to fuel save to make it to the end of this race on no more stops. That's what Lewis is doing. Haven't seen anyone else noticeably doing it. Mills, he will have to pit again, and very soon. 6.4 litres left. Julius Gassner, 43.9, 44.6, sorry, for Albert further back. What will this second group do? These could be the drivers that make the difference in this race. Will they fuel save enough? Remember, you lose more than a lap if you pit around here. Of course, maybe a shorter pit stop you can save a few seconds, but you're going to lose about roughly 50 seconds from a pit stop with my prediction. 50 seconds, maybe a minute in a pit stop. Which means effectively, if you can save enough fuel to... If you can save enough fuel to make it to the end without losing more than a minute, you can win this race. So, just prepare yourselves. The drivers are going to hate doing it. Anyone that does it is going to hate doing it, as we now see Mills comes into pit lane. They're going to hate having to do it. They're going to despise the idea of lifting off as much as they're going to have to make it to the end, especially with a chance of a caution. But it's unlikely we're going to have another caution in this race. And in theory, it is going to be quicker to save enough fuel. A minute of lifting off, effectively, you have before you have to get back on the throttle again. That's the option these drivers have to them. Will they take it or not? Davison continues to lead ahead of Liu. The fuel mileage between these top two very close. 0.4 perhaps. Then take that back to Lewis, who's got just over a litre more than them. A litre's not going to make a difference. A litre isn't even a lap. At the end of this lap, they're going to need 45.6 litres by my calculations to make it to the end of this race. That means you're going to have to save about 8 litres of fuel, if not more, to make it to the end of this race now. What will these guys do? Look at them all in the 36s, 37 for Lewis. He only needs to save 7 litres, but it's still 7 litres. It's 1 litre less than everyone else, but it's 7 litres. That's a huge amount. Look at the time he's lost. He's 3 seconds back from the leaders that he was comfortably running with at points in this. Fuel saving is going to be a huge part of this if anyone pulls it off. If anyone commits to that strategy, with nothing to lose, if anyone commits to that strategy, they can win this race. I'm telling you now, if we don't have another caution in this race, the person who takes the risk, who saves fuel, is going to win. And it doesn't take speed to save fuel. It helps, don't get me wrong. But when we're talking about a minute's margin here, a second a lap is not going to make a huge difference. Liu now dropping back. Maybe he is beginning to save fuel. Davison not out front, he is pushing flat out here. Dalton looks like he's doing the same. We could well have a flurry of pit stops in the final laps of this race. At the end of this lap, there'll be 17 laps remaining. By my calculations, Tyler Davison has 13 laps of fuel left. And you'll notice there are 16 laps, or 17 laps in this race. He's 4 laps short. So, I've got a feeling that around lap 95, we're going to have a very busy pit lane at this rate. This is an exciting finish to this race. I have no idea what's going to happen. At the moment, they're all pushing to not save fuel. They're all, to me, looking like they're either banking on a caution, or they're just going to have to take that splash and dash at the end. Let's go through the fuel mileage again. 29.2, 28.8, 29.6, 30.6 for Lewis. Again, he's up by a little bit, but not a huge amount. 30.2, Sandover, also saving. Then we have Gassner, 29.2, 29.9 for Kyle, 29.6 for Chloe Glennon. Mills, 43.6. However, I'd be saying, watch out for him, he could win this race. But he's already a lap down. He's already 1 minute and 9 seconds behind. But as far as I'm aware at this current moment, the only driver who's not going to make another pit stop in this race is Jonathan Mills. Now, a pit stop isn't 1 minute and 9 seconds, but he really could get up into a top 5 position here. Maybe that's a bit of a push, but 6th place is very much a possibility from Jonathan Mills here. Because he is not going to have to pit again. It's the only driver who can say that. This is going to be a close finish here. Whether it be because close on the fuel, whether it be close on track, whether it's close on who comes out of pit lane first, I don't know. This is very representative. For those of you that saw it or perhaps didn't see it, I recommend watching it, even though it's just the highlights. The 2016 Indianapolis 500. That race was a fuel mileage sprint to the finish. And it was the one driver who took the risk and saved, that ended up winning that race. He had to do half the final lap with no fuel, but he took the risk, he saved, and he made it to the finish, and he won the Indianapolis 500. After not being in a position to win that race. That's the sort of storyline we could have here today. The two Dalton Autosport cars pushing as hard as they can out front. These two have committed. They are making a pit stop. They are not back. They are doing this strategy. And I don't blame them. Looking at what everyone else has done, I can see why this strategy would work. Their 4 seconds is the gap behind for just a litre more of fuel. And you need to have like an 8 litre increase on fuel. It's not a 1 litre difference. If you're gained a litre from a second, oh, sorry, if you gained a litre from 4 seconds, you're going to need to, well, simple maths, times it by 8. 4 times by 8. 36 seconds. That's less than a pit stop. I mean, it's a tough decision. Incredibly tough. Impossibly tough. But it's one that these drivers can have from overs. I believe that's Albert into the pits. He is going to commit to a splash and dash now. He's going to pit, refuel, leave, and hope for the best. Out front, Davison leads this race. If someone fuel saves enough, he will win this race. Maybe I'm looking at this from a pure maths perspective. Pure sort of strategy. In my head it makes sense. Why wouldn't you do it? I've driven in situations like this. Admittedly not in Perfect Cars 2, but in other games where you need to save fuel. And it just goes against everything that you think as a driver. You don't want to pit. Under no circumstances would you want to pit. Why? Why would you? Why? But at the same time, under no circumstances do you want to save. It's horrible to have to lift off as much as you would have to lift off. There is no good answer. As more and more drivers pit now, Sandover's into the pits. Glennon now up into 5th place. You've got Zauber, Julius Gassner in the pits there. More and more drivers committing to making a pit stop. The gap is now Lewis pits. So does Liu. Liu's missed his spot. Liu has missed his spot. He misses his pit box. And that is going to cost him time. He had to put it in reverse there to get back into his box. And he's going to come out comfortably behind Lewis. Aston Lewis here. The two Dalton cars have been handed this on an absolute plate. As they come into pit lane, they can stick together. They've been together. They've been working together for so long. As Davison, he speeds into the pits. I don't believe it. Tyler Davison, the race leader, has sped into the pits on the final pit stop of the day. Huge drama. He's either going to have to serve a drive-through penalty or take the 10-second. Around here, with how little the chance of a caution there is, you have to take the 10 seconds. Everywhere else I'd suggest otherwise. But, wow. Drama. Dalton. Evan Dalton is now in a brilliant position in this race. Can the championship leader take victory here today? To swing the championship very much in his favour. To take his second Indianapolis 250 victory. He's second on the road by a decent margin to his teammate. Where are the rest of the field? Lewis, he's coming through turn 4 now. The leaders are just about coming off of pit lane now. The gap, so close. It's going to be close here. Can Lewis, Aston Lewis, can he close the gap to Evan Dalton? Davison, because of speeding on pit lane, has gained a good few seconds there. Which means that Dalton is not going to have slipstream. Is that a spinner? It is Davison, second spinner on this stint. He's going to drop down and go to Evan Dalton will be all alone out front now. 2 spinners on this run. Dalton leads the race by 8/10 of a second. Lewis is in second. Then it's Sandover, 3 seconds off the lead. Already Aston Lewis, with the momentum of pitting that little bit earlier, has got a huge run. It's going to be Aston Lewis versus Evan Dalton for victory here today. These are the two drivers out front. I'd assume there isn't a caution, which at this point, I won't lie, is hard to work out. So we've got a car slow here ahead of the leaders. Who is that? I don't know. Is it Glennon? It is. Glennon has had a problem. I believe she was she a car that already had a problem? I think she was. So Glennon, trying to recall now. There was one. Brain work. Lewis is in the slipstream. For the sake of the fact that I cannot be 100% sure, we're going to say 3. As Lewis takes the lead. Can he do it? With just 7 laps remaining. You can see that the difference in fuel that these two drivers have, that could have been the difference on why the pit stop was so much quicker for Aston Lewis. 3 cars for the caution is what I'm going to go with here. Aston Lewis leads the Indianapolis 250. Evan Dalton, the defending winner of this race, is in second. Scott Sandover side by side with a lap down car of Adam Liu. Or is he not? No, he isn't a lap down, sorry. Oh, Sandover's crashed! Sandover's crashed! Big crash! And then I'm going to bring out a late race caution. He comes back up onto the racetrack. The caution is going to come out late here. Drama late in this race. It was Aston Lewis versus Evan Dalton for the win. Sandover crashing from 4th place has just made that, well, a 9-car fight for victory. A sprint to the finish. The field lining up here. Albert has pitted under closed pit lane, so he'll have to restart at the back. Although he's going straight through. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Is he slow? Has he got a pit box? Oh, he has got a pit box. There we go. Oh, he's retired. Okay, fair enough. Aston Lewis leads this race. He will not be green this time unless Glenn can catch up. Pits will be open. Green this time. It'll be a 5-lap shootout to end the Season 6 next-gen competition. Indianapolis 250. We are back to green flag racing. Aston Lewis leads them across the stripe. 5 laps remain in this race. Lewis leads ahead of Dalton. Then comes Liu and Davison. Already a couple of cars at the back, dropping back just a little bit, which makes this a 6-car fight. Dalton looking to try and take the lead. Liu's right in the pack as well. Dalton to the outside of Lewis. Side by side for the lead of the race. Liu, will he get involved? They're still side by side into turn 3. Dalton is on the outside. Can he make something happen here? They're 2 by 2 here on the run to the finish. 4 laps will remain at the end of this one. We have a 6-car fight for victory. Lewis is on the inside. Dalton on the outside. Behind them, it's Adam Liu and Tyler Davison. Lewis still on the inside here. Dalton running up high, even higher for Liu in the background. He's in the wall. He comes down the racetrack just a little bit. They all seem to survive. Lewis is clear out front though. Davison third. Sandover spins. Sandover spins. Mills is over there. Mills over on the back straight. Crash. Drama This is now a 4-car fight for the win. Aston Lewis leads the Indianapolis 250 ahead of Evan Dalton. And then comes Tyler Davison. Adam Liu, the last of the 4 cars in this lead group, looking to try and take victory here today. Dalton looking to the outside for the lead. Side by side through turn 1 now. Dalton on the outside of Lewis. Each lap that goes by, these two are going to push it harder and harder and harder, closer and closer and closer to the limit. And to each other. Look at that, all the way, almost in the grass. Aston Lewis defending that inside line for his life. Can Evan Dalton carry enough speed on the outside? He's trying to do all he can. He's squeezing as much as he can. Any closer and there will be contact. And in contact, well, carnage could well come afterwards. The top 2 side by side. 2 laps remain in the Indianapolis 250 here in Season 6 of Project IndyCar. Dalton takes the lead from Aston Lewis. A huge run off of turn 4. Dalton leads as they go through turns 1 and now turn 2. Lewis trying to close back in. Can he do it? Liu right in this pack as well. So is Davison. Evan Dalton doing all he can to hold on. Lewis looking to the outside. He has to slot in behind him though, as they prepare to see the white flag. 5 corners remain ahead of them. Make that 4. Lewis is in the slipstream of Dalton. Can he find the inside line as they head towards turn 1? He does. He's nearly in the wall. White flag's in the air. 2.5 miles remain of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lewis takes the lead. Dalton just about holding on to second place. They're side by side for third. Aston Lewis leads the Indianapolis 250. 2 corners remain in this race. Half a lap. He defends the inside line as much as he can. He's breaking the slipstream as much as he can. They head towards turn 3 for the final time. Aston Lewis covering off. Can he take victory here today? Evan Dalton looking to try and get a run as he comes out of turn 4 now. Aston Lewis is the leader, but can he win? There's a spin. Davison spins, but Evan Dalton, can he take the lead on the run to the line? Aston Lewis wins the Indianapolis 250. Aston Lewis has won the double crown. Aston Lewis wins again. Evan Dalton narrowly missing out there. Second place. But a huge day for his championship. Second is not a bad way for him to finish this race. 8 cars made the finish in the end. What a race. What a race. Aston Lewis wins the Indianapolis 250. He becomes the 3rd driver to win this race. He becomes the 3rd driver to win both this race and the Blue Moon 200. Aston Lewis, he's beginning to write his chapter in the next gen competition storybooks. Season 6. Can it get any better? Aston Lewis wins again. Evan Dalton takes second to boost his championship hopes. Adam Liu will complete the podium as Chloe Glennon, in her first appearance of the season, takes 4th place. What a race we witnessed today. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. In what is such an endurance race, an hour and a half almost. What a race this is. What a race it has been. Thank you all so much for watching. Please go follow Next Gen Competition on Instagram if you don't already, to make sure you don't miss out on the winner post, on the standings after this race. So much you're going to see on there. And, well, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well if you don't want to miss out on next week's racing. Next week we'll be back for the NASCAR GT's round 6 of their season, along with round 6 of the Project IndyCar season. So join us on Monday at 7 PM for NASCAR GT, and join us back at the usual time, Thursday at 7:30 for Project IndyCar's round 6 of the season. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.